Thank you for joining us today. My name is Grant McDonald. I will be the moderator for this session. I'd like to welcome you to our virtual exchange. This session, the topic is connecting mainframe operations to more of your enterprise. Quick note, if you have questions during the presentation, feel free to submit them in the Q&A area. We'll leave some time at the end and we'll answer your questions at that time. Today presenting is Alan Warhorst. Alan has been in the IT industry for over 20 years. He's been with BMC since about 2014. Alan leads our AIMIOps product management team, and he also works on AIOps with our Z Solutions platform, and also is heavily involved with the integrations that we have with Helix Discovery. So with that, Alan, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Grant, and thank you all for joining me today. So we're going to go through some of our capabilities today that we have within our AIMIOps platform, which is all of our systems management for the mainframe system. So we have a load of capability that's sat there. And the first thing we want to start with is just a little bit of why. So mainframe operations has moved on, and we are looking forward to how we drive that forward. But the mainframe really is key and part and central of the AIOps capabilities across the piece. The mainframe sits there and is one of those things that is really central to the modern delivery of applications and those kind of things. It's moved on from maybe 20 or 30 years ago where the mainframe delivered all applications as one thing. And now it is truly part of the wider autonomous digital enterprise. It underpins and contains many pieces of data that are key to delivery of that truly digital experience. And looking at, when we do sort of surveys, so we survey a lot of our customers and a lot of the industry every year. The mainframe is one of those areas where we have seen a lot of change, and change is one of those constants that underpins it. So if we look at the 2022 mainframe survey, we can see that transaction volume, number of databases, the data volume, so the amount of work that is going through a mainframe system today is definitely higher than it ever was. The other thing to say is that the nature of that work is changing. So the rate of database object change is increasing. The workload volatility around that workload is increasing. The rate of application change itself is increasing as people are changing and varying their applications to keep up with digital business. Now, from a systems management perspective, what that means is that you have to change and flex the way that you manage your system. And to do that, what you really need is a truly holistic overall delivery of systems management that can span all the way from mainframe through cloud, from mainframe out through cloud into mobile and those kind of things that are in people's hands. And we at BMC have been constantly enhancing our solutions, and particularly over the last couple of years, building greater integrations into the AIMIOps infrastructure and out into that wider enterprise. Now, the types of integrations that we've got span 4 key areas. The first one is around performance data. So our operations monitors those capabilities, pick up lots of information. They can do a whole raft of really detailed instrumentation of the system, but getting access to that data and then allowing people to understand how their systems work and where they go really is key. The next one is around, or the next 2 are around things like events and tickets. So events from the point of view of, system messages, whether tasks are up or down, or all of those kind of things together. They're really key pieces of information to understand the availability of a system or whether there happens to be an error in it. And speaking of errors, the ability to raise into service management world tickets, incidents, to allow people to follow their processes to enable the quick and timely resolution of issues is another key area. The final one that we've built a lot of integration and capability around is configuration management. So allowing people to truly understand the applications and the infrastructure that is their mainframe and how that truly ties into the delivery of a service or an application out to the wider community. And I think what I wanted to do was start a little bit with that configuration management, so that discovery capability. And BMC AMIOps has that link in. So from a discovery perspective, the mainframe can absolutely participate as part of the wider BMC Helix discovery capability. It's been significantly enhanced over the past couple of years to include application dependency mapping and those kind of pieces. So what that truly allows people to do is to get that view from an end-to-end perspective to understand the impact of changes to the state of those CIs, those elements, and all of those kind of pieces, and truly flows through. And this is a seamless out-of-the-box integration between a BMC discovery agent that sits and runs on the mainframe, and then the wider Helix cloud and on-prem delivery that is available today. If we think about that end-to-end management, then going on from the discovery, so we now have that true configuration capability that's sat there. What we now also get is the integration into event monitoring and being able to understand the changes of state of particular components within the infrastructure, and also to recognize that errors or incidents or those kind of pieces actually pull in and get all of those events, whether they be on a mainframe, whether they be on a different platform, all in a single screen in Helix Operations Management, is one of those really key elements. So taking the mainframe and treating it as a siloed thing and just looking at mainframe events doesn't give you that complete picture. And at the same time, as you go into managing service and dealing with things, understanding all of the possible sources of events that could happen is absolutely key. The proactive notifications of those events allow people to diagnose and work through systems in a way that allows you to shortcut the possibility of things becoming service affecting. And the ability then, once you've actually got event data in, to drive automated resolution is one of those key parts. It's one of the key components of delivery of a modern systems management capability. And then moving on, perhaps maybe a little bit from events, but looking at service management. So most organizations, whilst dealing with an event and automating event is absolutely key, driving into that service management world and ensuring that that delivery is recorded and that incidents can be recorded, managed in an appropriate manner, and then also driven forward into further capabilities like problem management to allow you to go back and do those true root causes and eliminate those sources of error permanently is absolutely key to ensure the speed and efficiency of IT organizations, and particularly and availability and reliability of the systems and services that are delivered by that. And again, the intention here is to allow all of the information to flow through such that a lot of these capabilities can then be further automated within the ITSM capability, with the ITSM platform. It's leveraging that power, drawing in all of that mainframe capability, that mainframe delivery really is key. And then as we move on into perhaps a slightly less real-time operational state, but in fact I would suggest even more important is a capacity optimization view. So looking at how people can understand the capacity of their systems. Mainframes have been around for 40 years and mainframe capacity processes are quite advanced. However, with this heterogeneous delivery of applications and the need to ensure, particularly with recent legislation that's come in, certainly across Europe in a number of places around critical infrastructures, things like financial services and those kind of things, the ability to truly do end-to-end capacity management to allow the forecasting of that capacity, to allow the analysis of that capacity, and to allow things like virtual stress testing to ensure that systems can cope is really, really key. And I mentioned there one thing about forecasting. It isn't just about forecasting to avoid failure. It's also about forecasting to manage and optimize cost. And whilst speed and agility are absolutely key, managing the cost and delivery of that to do that in an optimized manner for a company so that they can deliver, they can free up as much funds as possible to continue to drive that innovation is again one of those really, really key ones. So what capacity optimization does from an HCO point of view, Helix capacity optimization can get all of that data out of the mainframe. It's contextualized using the expertise that BMC has built over many years of capacity management on the mainframe, and is delivered in the same place and the same experience as all of the other platforms that exist. So this is not just, this allows the joined up capacity management piece as we go forward. It also allows for deep dive into the mainframe specific. So to capture, information around ZOS and subsystem metrics and those kind of things to get some out of the box views to make sure that's there, and to allow the forecasting and then the analysis of the mainframe system is really, really good. Also, the ability to generate ad hoc capacity performance charts to help senior management understand both the impact of potential change and also the opportunity of potential change when it comes to things like optimizing applications, being able to forecast the reduction in demand or the improvement in performance is really, really key. And this system works seamlessly together. Again, it's a delivered as an out of box delivery and all those kind of things, and it ensures that those things can be done truly together. So across the board within AmyOps, what BMC has been focusing on is delivery of this seamless experience. So the combination of Helix and AmyOps particularly ensures that you get a single view of the entirety of your IT estate, and can manage, plan, optimize, and deal with problems really kind of key together. But if you're not fortunate enough to have chosen BMC Helix for some of your solutions, we've also widened out some of the capabilities of the platform by introducing API capability within the AmyOps suite. So AmyOps is a hugely powerful combination of a number of different solutions across monitoring, automation, capacity planning, as we've already discussed, and things like AIOps, and has a vast amount of data. And in conversations with customers, some customers have said, well, what I want to do is something that isn't standard, but I'd like access to the data and I'd like access to the capability that the power of all of that data is in there to allow us to drive forward. So the opening part of that, the start of that, was our RESTful API, known as our common REST API service. And what this does is allow customers to, within a RESTful interface, get hold of data from any of the AmyOps products, particularly the monitors. So whether that's around things like ZOS or DB2 or IMS or MQ or CICS, all of that data is truly accessible through the common REST API service. And customers themselves can then go away, write code to actually pull that information back, and pull it into various other systems. So whether that's, real-time feeds into things like Splunk and those kind of pieces, or taking data up into IronStream and those kind of pieces, absolutely, that's what the tool is designed to do. That's what the capability is designed to do. We're also, heavily involved in the open mainframe project. We truly believe in having a truly open mainframe platform and delivery. So what we've been focusing there on is making sure that as we develop and deliver these new open capabilities to the AmyOps platform, that we can ensure that the system is Zoe compliant and conformant. And so the Zoe version 2 CRA or Common REST API service is also available and capable and conformant with that. And just to give you an example, building around this technology, our focus has been on building an integration, not just delivering the toolbox approach, which many customers do appreciate, but also then using that technology in things like our automation software. So with our automation today, we've got a number of different capabilities. I've shown you some of the integrations with other BMC products, and things like email and SNMP capabilities have been in the product for some time. But with the RESTful API integration, actually that gives us two pieces of real capability there. The first one is around inbound. So if the mainframe is somewhere where you need to then drive automation, you can absolutely do that and call it through a RESTful interface. It's appropriately secured, so it's not a weak spot in your mainframe, but what that allows you to do is then execute a script. So in things like automated remediation, or server's gone down, I need to go away and drive a different task on the mainframe, that capability, that setup is there and available and done. And at the same time, automation can also call out. So in the event that you have something happens on the mainframe and you need to tell another system, and in this case, the example there is BMC Helix, whether that's send an event data, whether that's send ticket data into the Helix platform, absolutely that works, but it can also be changed to send to any platform. So, if a restart of a started task on a mainframe is there and needed, then that's also an area where maybe they could do and pick in and drive from doing that in a different way. And then finally, we've had many conversations with customers. We provided them the open API capability, which allowed them to suck data. Many customers have said, actually, what we'd really love to be able to do is to stream data, to take the power of the core mainframe data as generated by the operations solutions and ship it through into other platforms, whether that be things like Splunk or Elastic or those kind of data analytics platforms, to allow them to instrument their own applications and their own capabilities. So actually using a piece of technology called DataStream, which we use today and we've had in the organization for 2 or 3 years now, which also provides kind of security data and other pieces of data. We've added the capability to take AmyOps data and feed that into the DataStream product. We've actually done a version of the DataStream product that just focuses on the DataStream for ops. So customers can get hold of all of their ops data. They can ship it through. And what that does is that, again, enhances this view of enterprise-wide visibility. So we've had a number of customers that are building their own very specific custom dashboards, picking in different pieces of data and those kind of things. It allows people to do additional analytics and additional performance analysis and those kind of pieces. But what we are doing is ensuring that data is formatted out of the box, that it's picked up and understood out of the box, and it allows you to build those kind of things. So it's an additional capability that sits there, and from that point of view is one of these areas where a number of customers have said to us, well, yeah, we want this and we want to feed data into Helix and we want to do all this kind of stuff. So the focus is truly around making AmyOps as open a platform as possible, and to deliver on that requirement for that experience, particularly in an autonomous digital enterprise, particularly in a modern digital enterprise, and the homogeneous nature of application delivery, to ensure that everything we do in systems management can be pulled in and allow end users and operations staff to get that truly holistic view
across everything. Um, so I think that's all I was going to cover now. I'm Alan Warhurst, as Grant said at the beginning. I'm Director of Product Management. If you have questions and those kind of things, please feel free to put them into chat now. Grant will pick up and give me some of the stuff. And then from that, also, if you need to contact me, my contact details are here.
Great. Thanks, Alan. Just a reminder, as you're thinking about any questions you have, feel free to type them in the chat. But also want to remind you this session, we will have it available on demand. So if there's a part you missed or you want to go back and listen to later, you'll be getting the link for that. If you're interested in hearing any more about any of the particular pieces that we talked about here, or additional areas of the portfolio, just a reminder, we do have other sessions happening on DevOps and on security today and tomorrow. And we'll also have one on the roadmap. So that session will kind of cover a little bit of what's been released over the last year in case you've missed that, or if you want to get kind of a little bit of a preview of what's coming over the next 6 to 12 months. That will be coming up as well. So we also have content in our resource area and at the solutions booth. And if you have any technical questions or you want to do more of a deep dive, we do have technical account managers that are there and ready to chat with you as well. So, and then lastly, if there's anything you would like to give us as a piece of feedback, feel free to complete the survey on the session, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Let me take a quick look, see if we have any questions. Carrie, good question on the presentation available for download. I'm not sure. I think it's just a view on demand only. But if you mean the deck, I will have to check on that. I think that there will be PDF versions potentially provided, but let me circle back on that. Just a couple of questions. Maybe, Alan, you can elaborate on while we see if there's any other questions out there. With discovery, can you elaborate on, is it more than just the infrastructure components that can be covered, or is there more there?
Yeah, no. So certainly the first pass was more about focused on infrastructure. Actually, there's been some major enhancements to the capability over probably within the last 12 months. I think it was actually January. Blimey, time goes. Where the dependency mapping was done. So the discovery of application components and the ability to do dependency mapping across, including those mainframe components, has been added. What that really means is it isn't just, well, is my kicked region up or is my DB2 region up? It really truly gives you that end-to-end view of your application flows and those kind of things, and really allows you to contextualize, particularly when you add in the power of, when we're talking about event management, those events are coming through, they're from the components, so you can actually see that information, and that really helps you get an idea of impact of any problems or any challenges you've got, and really gives you that end-to-end view. Just to say, when I started, I talked about change. One of the things that is more rapidly changing now in the mainframe probably than it ever has is the nature of applications and that connectivity piece. So that discovery and certainly that application layer within it really is key, because it isn't anywhere near as static as it used to be.
Okay. Gotcha. Appreciate that. And as you were talking about data stream in particular, are there more bits of data that can be piped through to Splunk other than kind of just what was covered?
Yeah. So I think I may have touched on it just a little bit, but data stream as a product or a family of products is designed to take any form of systems instrumentation off the mainframe and deliver it to a whole raft of different targets. So whether that's specific to ZOS, we have DB2 capabilities, we have IMS capabilities, there's MQ data and those kind of things in there. And that data can be in the form of things like SMF, particularly in the case of ZOS, but job information, particularly security information. So the supporting of, and I know you mentioned it, Grant, that we've got some talks on security later. That's one of the really key legs of
this truly connected mainframe is making sure that your systems management and your security is fully connected in. DataStream is a family of products that's absolutely designed to do that. So, if you have that, and if the other thing to say is that DataStream for the AMI Ops products is a subset of the wider product. If you have DataStream for ZOS today, or you look at DataStream for ZOS, you actually get the operations, the AMI Ops data flows as part of that larger, wider product, and that is probably the most comprehensive and certainly one of the lowest overhead deliveries of information out to wide range. So we've talked about Splunk, but Elastic and other specific data analytics or SIM platforms absolutely supports all of those.
Okay, great. Well, I don't see any other questions at this time. Just a quick reminder, if you missed it, our annual mainframe survey is out, as Alan mentioned, and Alan did a lion's share of work on that. So I'll pop a link in the chat should anybody want to get the resources we have available for that. Some good, interesting tidbits on trends and activities. We'll be kind of featuring more of those in some of the other sessions as well. But if you want to get the full report, I'll pop the link in so you can go to the webpage there. But with that,
and
yep.
I was going to say just on that one as well, Grant, that there is a webinar on that next week. I think it's November the 2nd, which be listening to my dulcet tones again. Well, we'll talk through the survey results as well.
Yep, I'll pop that in as well, just in case anybody has missed that and would like to register and kind of get the walkthrough. All right, well, I think that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for your attendance, your attention, and enjoy the rest of Exchange.